You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, the Giants fall 5-2 to the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. Logan Webb pitched great and didn't get the run support, and the bullpen gave it up late. But all of this pales in comparison to the biggest news of the day. Willie Mays, the greatest human being to ever play baseball, has passed away at 93 years old. With the Giants set to honor the Negro League and Willie Mays at Rickwood in just a few days, this is a devastating loss to baseball fans worldwide. I'll try to make it through this show without crying, but no promises. You can probably hear that my voice is very shaky right now. Willie Mays is my all-time favorite athlete across any sport. This hurts, man. It hurts. We'll break it all down. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. And thanks for getting us on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're tuning into the show, we appreciate it. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants daily show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Usually, I start my shows off by going through, kind of just walking through a play-by-play and giving you guys some highlights from the games. I don't feel like doing that today, man. I don't. Willie Mays is so much more than just a baseball player, man. This guy, a catalyst for change in this country like few have been in their lives, and to affect a country, a culture, the way that he did through sport is amazing. If you look on social media today, you'll see, countless eulogies, pictures, videos of Willie Mays out in the public with world leaders, with children, with everyday people, with presidents, with current modern day superstars, baseball players. This guy had time for every single person that he came across in life. He's the say hey kid. You'd say hi to him and he'd say hey right back. And Willie Mays, man, this is a gut punch for him to pass away just days ahead of him being honored at Wrigley Field, at Rickwood Field, days ahead of the Negro Leagues being honored there. This is so sad, man. It breaks my heart to know that Willie's not going to be able to sit at home and watch the Giants return to the field that he started his career on. And some stats from Willie Mays' career. He was born in 1931 to live till 2024. 660 career home runs, 3,000 hit club, missed nearly 2 full seasons in 1952 and 1953 because he was drafted into the U.S. military. He was a starter in 18 All-Star games, 12 Gold Gloves, only player in MLB history with at least 3,000 hits, a 300 batting average, 300 home runs, and 300 stolen bases. But as I said, most importantly, he was a catalyst for change in this country on and off the field. And the impact that he had in this lifetime was far greater than baseball. Man, devastating. The legendary say hey kid, he epitomizes the very essence of the sport's magic and grace. Born on May 6th of 93 in Westfield, Alabama, he carved out a legacy that stretches far beyond statistics and records. If we're choosing all-time greats at any position, Willie Mays at center field over anybody and everybody else that's ever stepped onto this field. We got to walk through this game a little bit, but we'll get back into Willie a little bit more later on in the show. Early on in this one, we had a pitcher's duel today, Logan Webb versus Justin Steele, and both dudes were on. It feels like it was all kind of muted, dwarfed based on what was going on. Jon Miller did, I just can't even, I don't even know, outstanding, phenomenal. These are words that don't even describe how good Jon Miller was today on the broadcast. I mean, the way that he was able to eulogize Willie Mays while also calling this game so artfully and tactfully, delivering fans countless stories of Willie Mays's career. It was full display why Jon Miller is a Hall of Fame broadcaster on today for anyone who is tuning in on NBC Sports Bay Area. And man, this was tough to get through. That I don't know how John and Dave and Hunter were able to make it through this whole broadcast without completely breaking down. There was a point at one time where I thought I heard Jon Miller's voice starting to crack, and I was wondering if he was gonna lose it there, but he didn't. Hunter Pence also just pretty much stayed quiet pretty much this entire broadcast after it was announced that Willie had passed away, and he just let Jon do his thing. He got out of the way, which is the best thing Hunter could have done in that moment. Hunter Pence added some cool stories about Willie Mays coming down and checking out people's bats as well, and always telling them how many home runs he feels like he had or he could feel in that bat. It was a great day to listen to stories of Willie Mays, and I think Jon really did a good job of helping fans kind of like holding their hand through it. You know what I mean? Like the initial overwhelming sense of sadness that I got, and that I know all of Giants fans, all of baseball fans felt in that moment. Jon somehow turned it into like a celebration, a happy moment, a time to reflect and remember all of the wonderful things that Willie did in his career and in his life. It was amazing, man. But we got to talk about this game at least a little bit, man. On the hill today, as I said, Logan Webb versus Justin Steele, a pitcher's duel, good old fashioned pitcher's duel. Two guys who have ERAs right around 3. Justin Steele, a 16-game winner last season. I actually saw this matchup, Logan Webb versus Justin Steele, last year when we had it in Wrigley. It was a day game. It was hot out there in I believe it was the very beginning of September. It was a very important series for the Giants that they actually got swept in. That was not great, but this club feels different than that club did. This game, though, just as quick as that other game did. Two guys who just worked super fast on the mound, Logan Webb and Justin Steele. Webb went 7 innings pitched, Steele 6 2/3, and they both gave up. I mean, they had very similar stat lines. They both gave up 2 runs. Webby gave up 6 hits. Steele gave up 4. Steele walked 2 guys. Webby walked 1. Steele had 8 strikeouts. Webby had 5. I mean, they were neck and neck throughout this whole game, and it was really a fun pitcher's duel to watch. I wish I could have locked in a little more on it, man, because these two guys were out there dealing. Webby tossed over 100 pitches today in that warm Chicago weather. Steele 96 pitches, 62 strikes for Justin Steele. Webby 101 pitches, 66 of them for strikes. And the Giants were cruising, man. The offense, both offenses were struggling to find any kind of rhythm or rallies. Early on, the Cubs got their 2 runs on 1 swing of the bat after an Ian Happ single. I guess 2 swings of the bat because Ian Happ had to single first. Dansby Swanson, who I really wanted the Giants to sign this last offseason, came up and smashed a home run on what looked like a lazy fly ball initially off the bat, ended up traveling over 400 feet. Cubs take a 2-0 lead, goes out over the Ivy. Wrigley Field playing very, very small today. That ballpark can be a little bit of a bandbox with balls just flying on out of there. I mean, it's one of the great cathedrals of baseball, but it does play pretty small when that wind is blowing out on a hot summer day in Chicago. After that, though, Webby settled down. That was in the bottom of the second, and as we know, if you're going to get to Logan Webb, you got to do it in the beginning of the game. Otherwise, he's going to lock in and keep mowing you down. Webby got out of the 3rd inning with a jam on runners in 1st and 3rd, gets out of there with no damage. Then in the top of the 5th, right after it was announced that Willie Mays had passed away, the Giants draw 2 walks. Casale drives 1 to the outfield all the way to the Ivy and plates both of those runners as they tie it up 2-2. Then in the bottom of the 5th, Webb gets into a bases loaded jam, but gets out of it with no damage again. Then in the 6th inning, there wasn't any baseball highlights to talk about as much in the 6th innings, but in between the top of the 6th and the bottom of the 6th, very classy move by the Cubs to put Willie up on the scoreboard and announce 2 the stadium, the fans, that Willie Mays had passed away, and they asked for a moment of silence. But in true, I would say this would be very fitting for Willie Mays. Everybody stood up and clapped because this man was so universally beloved, such a joyful person, someone that just spread so much happiness to everyone in his life and that he encountered. I don't think a moment of silence is really appropriate for someone like that. Everybody stood up and cheered. And when Jon talked about it coming back from break, that's when he started to get a little bit choked up. And I thought that maybe Jon was gonna get the waterworks going a little bit, like I very well might on this show at some point if I can't keep myself together. But man, it was just a day to remember Willie Mays today, in that beautiful sunset out there that you could see on the broadcast. Even Flem talked about it a little bit when he hopped back onto the TV side of things. Maybe that beautiful sunset in Chicago was Willie Mays smiling down on two of the oldest ball clubs in baseball, playing in one of the best cathedrals of the game, a field that Willie Mays himself played on numerous times. It's tough, but it's beautiful at the same time, and it's just baseball, man. It's the intersection of all these different things in life that can come together in this great game that we all know and love. And aside from a Giants win today, it could have made this a lot better, I feel like, or maybe not a lot better, but it would have made it somewhat better for the Giants to pull out a win for Willie on a day like today. But in the bottom of the eighth, Webb's day is done. Tyler Rogers comes in and immediately starts giving up just a parade of hits. I mean, the merry-go-round just kept going for the Cubs. Bush drives one off the ivy that for a second looked like it was going to get out of the yard, but ends up hitting off the top of the wall for a double. Bellinger gets a seeing eye single to score Bush. Cubs take a 3-2 lead. Another single gives the Cubs first and third with no outs, and then another single gives the Cubs a 4-2 lead. Eventually, Rogers loads the bases again with 2 outs, but is pulled for Luke Jackson. Luke did pretty good. He got out of the inning, but he did give up an infield single deep into the shortstop/third base hole. Another run scored, even though Ahmed was able to field that ball cleanly. 5-2 Cubs lead. They score 3 runs in that bottom of the 8th inning. In the top of the 9th, Giants couldn't do anything. They are retired 1-2-3 in order with 3 strikeouts. That Matt Chapman strikeout looked like it should have been a walk, but nonetheless, the Giants, mowed down in the top of the 9th to end this one as the Cubs win 5-2. But more importantly, it's a day to remember Willie Mays. And with this series at Rickwood just ahead of us, this is so sad, man. This is absolutely just a gut punch for Giants fans, for baseball fans, for I mean everybody who. I mean, I would venture to say he's an American icon that virtually this affects damn near everybody in this country when someone like this passes away. 93 years old, one of the greatest human beings, not just baseball players, but human beings of all time, Willie Mays, passes away today during the Giants-Cubs game, which the Giants lost 5-2 to the Cubs. We got to take a quick break. On the other side, more from this game, more about Willie Mays. Stay tuned on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time makes getting NBA Finals tickets even easier and faster. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Well, I mean, considering the NBA Finals just wrapped up last night, it can also get you MLB tickets. The same applies, faster and easier than many of these other same-day apps with killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and views from your seat. The lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. I love the last-minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, whatever you're into. Zone deals are pretty sweet too. If you know you want to go see the Giants and you know you want to sit in a specific part of the yard, like maybe on the right field wall, or maybe you want to get rowdy in the bleachers, just choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. Save even more money. And of course, you got to love the all-in pricing. Make sure to toggle this feature on to show the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. I hate surprise fees, so that sounds great to me. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And today's show is also sponsored by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Did I mention it's free? Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast, and I'm your host Eric Triple E Engel, and I'm just taking a peek at the chat and just all sorts of RIPs to Willie Mays. Sawyer, RIP to the GOAT Willie Mays. Nicholas, RIP to the GOAT himself. Joaquin, RIP to the GOAT. Yes, the GOAT Willie Mays. Ryan, my guy Ryan, shout out Ryan, who tunes into every single show. You got a little typo there, but I know what you mean, man. RIP to Willie. And Bob telling a fun story about getting to see Willie and meeting him in the Giants clubhouse when he was 12 years old. Bob says the first thing he noticed was his biceps in his yellow polo shirt. Got his autograph, still has it today, and he was his childhood hero. Well, guess what, Bob? Right behind me, my mic's kind of in the way. I'll see if I can finagle this. Not really, but right behind me, right over the mic, if you're watching, right here on the YouTube stream, you can see the 24, the Willie Mays. It's I grew up with a picture of Willie Mays in my room before I credit my dad. Shout out Darren, who made sure that I had a picture of Willie Mays hung in my wall since before I even knew how to speak words. That picture has just been in my room since I was a baby. And I grew up knowing who this guy was, the impact he had on the game. And I mean, dude is also like Barry Bonds' godfather. Like he was the permutations of Willie Mays throughout all of baseball. The tendrils stretch everywhere. The particles flying around all over Major League Baseball today, and I mean, he will forever have an impact on this game. Let's go through some of the things that he did. 12 Gold Gloves, 18 All-Star games, as we already said. You know, that massive catalyst for change in this country. Willie Mays, countless memorable moments that really solidified him as one of the greatest players in baseball history. Let's just go through some of these things. The catch, obviously. I mean, if you know baseball, you know the catch probably. In the 1954 World Series, Willie Mays is at the Polo Grounds just running a 9 route straight to the wall and somehow in full sprint makes that catch over the shoulder against the Cleveland Indians. But the one thing that's always left out about that play, he doubled the runner up, man. He makes that catch, turns around, fires that ball back into the infield, and doubles the runner up who just took off on the play. Because why wouldn't you want a ball hit that hard? The only person ever in Major League Baseball who could ever make that play is Willie Mays himself. And in that same season, 94, he won the MVP. He hit .345 with 41 home runs, 110 RBIs, led the league in runs scored with 127 and slugging percentage with .667 slugging. It was, I mean, he did everything. Plus, he was playing defense the catch was in the World Series, the 1954 World Series against the Cleveland Indians. And I mean, he was doing it all over the place. He had his 500th home run in 1965. He still played for another 8 seasons after that. On September 13th, he was just the 5th player in Major League Baseball history to achieve the 500 career home run mark. It was off Don Noterbart off of the Houston Astros at the Astrodome. Shout out the Astrodome, man. I mean, all-star game performances. Not only did he have the most all-star appearances, but he has the most hits ever in all-star games, 23 hits. He shined greatest when the competition was at its highest. He did make the World Series in 1973 with the Mets. Wish he could have been a Giant for life, but Willie did go play the last couple of years with the Mets, and even though this was like he'd been playing since the 50s, 20 years later, dude still hits 250 in the series, which by today's accounts is a pretty damn good batting average for a lot of guys, and scored the winning run in Game 2 against the Oakland Athletics. Over his 22 year career, he accumulated impressive stats all up and down. I mean, 660 home runs, 3,283 hits, 1,900 RBIs, 1,903 RBIs, lifetime batting average of 302, 12 Gold Gloves, Hall of Famer in 1979. And I mean, named to the all-century team. Willie Mays is just the best to ever do it, man. The best to ever do it. And the fact that he is gone days before the Giants go out to Wrigley Field, the first field that he ever played on with the Birmingham Black Barons back in the 1940s. The 1940s, man, this guy played so much baseball. You'll never see that again. You'll never see a guy with the longevity of a Willie Mays ever walk the earth again with the baseball longevity of a Willie Mays. We'll never see something like that again. It was announced a couple days ago that Willie wasn't going to be able to make the trip to Rickwood, which isn't entirely a surprise based on his, how old he was and the fact that he had such limited mobility. But man, this is a gut punch for sure. I would advise all Giants fans to keep an eye out on anything that John Shea of the San Francisco Chronicle puts out over the next few days. John Shea has been the Willie Mays whisperer here in San Francisco for years now. John has a very special relationship with Willie, and that was kind of the one journalist that Willie would just they had like a friendship. It wasn't just like a working relationship, but that was the guy that Willie would tell everything. That was Willie's dude. And I would advise everybody to check out everything that John Shea puts out in the coming weeks. There's also going to be an Willie Mays documentary dropping on HBO coming up. I'm not sure exactly when that release date is, but keep an eye out for that as well. Right now, it's like a Last Dance style documentary. And right now, Giants homestands, there is a Willie Mays exhibit set up across the street from Oracle Park, right next to Baseballism. Shout out Baseballism. I love that store. I have a ton of shirts from there, but there's a Willie Mays exhibit out there, and it's got all sorts of memorabilia. It's got his Hall of Fame ring. It's got a glove, like a glove that he used to play with. It's got all sorts of old baseball cards, just all sorts of memorabilia, very historic stuff there on King Street, right across the street from Oracle Park, right next to Baseballism. You guys should all go and check it out. It is free, and they are also airing some clips from that documentary that's going to be released on HBO there. So you can sit down, you can watch some of that documentary, you can go take in some of the Willie Mays history, and you can feel a little bit of a connection to the Say Hey Kid. I would advise all Giants fans to get out there and do this. I went out there about a month ago on one of the Giants homestands, and I mean, it just made me so happy to see it. I got to go back now at this point. It's going to have a totally different meaning, connotation. Absolutely get out to see the Willie Mays exhibit right next to Baseballism on King Street across from Oracle Park. It opens up a few hours before every Giants home game, only on home games. So make sure next time that you're thinking of going out to Oracle Park, you get here early and you get your butt over to that Willie Mays exhibit, because you need to. We got to get into this game a little bit. I've spent this whole show talking about Willie Mays, man. Really hard not to, but we got to get into some of the stuff from today's game. The Giants offense, putrid today, only 4 hits today, 2 runs. Ramos very quiet at the dish. Flores quiet at the dish. Pretty much everybody quiet at the dish today. More on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections for a chance to win 100 times your money. Baseball season is officially underway, and there's no better way to cash in on the action than PrizePicks. Add your favorite players from the diamond to your PrizePicks lineups all season long, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks lineup today. You can now win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups on PrizePicks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 Demon Squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants fall 5-2 to the Chicago Cubs on the day that Willie Mays passes away at 93 years old. Giants playing the Cubs out at Wrigley. They had a chance to get back to 500, the never-ending climb to 500. They couldn't do it. 36-38 now on the season for the Giants. The Cubs improved to 35-39. And with the series split, they're going to have to win the rubber game tomorrow, which is something the Giants have done pretty well all season long. I mean, they won their last rubber match. The Giants have not no stranger to these situations. I mean, it's in rubber matches. They are 6-1 this year, so that's pretty good. Hopefully, the Giants can get it done tomorrow as well and improve that record to 7-1, and then they'll be again one game back from 500, and we can keep that climb going. The Giants. Wrigley Field was playing real small tonight, played small last night. Seemed like balls getting up in the jet stream were just flying on out to the wall. The Giants couldn't get anything up in that jet stream, though. Only 3 guys collected hits for the Giants. That's Nick Ahmed, Matt Chapman, 2 guys who the Giants Twitter loves to hate for some reason. I think it's just because Farhan Zaidi signed them. They've been okay for the Giants. Nick Ahmed, batting average at 250. He's not a power guy. He's not gonna hit a ton of home runs, but as long as that average is decent for Nick Ahmed and he's playing Gold Glove shortstop, that's exactly what the Giants signed him to do. Matt Chapman, the 1 hit, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts, and Kirk Casale though was the bright spot for the Giants offense today. And when Kirk Casale is the bright spot for your offense, that's tough. That's real tough. Kirk Casale came up with 2 hits. He had some pretty good at-bats against Justin Steele, which no other Giant really had any good at-bats against him today. He had the Giants' only RBIs, that 1 swing of the bat, that double drove in 2 runs. Tons of strikeouts for the Giants today. 12 strikeouts for the Giants. It's too many. It's too many. A lot of unproductive outs, not enough base runners. Giants only drew 2 walks in this entire game. The Cubs, meanwhile, have 11 hits and 2 walks. They had a lot more runners on base than the Giants. They went 4 for 11. The Cubs did with runners in scoring position. Giants only went 1 for 3. Giants only had 3 runners in scoring position all night long, and the Cubs had 11. You're not going to win a lot of baseball games that way. And this is kind of how things have been when Logan Webb's on the mound. I mean, Webby does everything you asked him to do. He goes 7 innings, 2-run ball. I mean, just for Rodgers to come in and completely collapse. He issues the first non-intentional walk of his season today. I mean, this is just, it was just not the Giants' night. I was really hoping that the news of Willie Mays would inspire this team to rally and hit and maybe give Webby some run support. Webb looked like he did not want to come out of this game at all. I thought Bob Melvin was going to have to hit him with like a tranquilizer dart to get the ball away from him, to get him off the mound. It was tough for the Giants to really amount anything in this one. The 1 extra base hit for Casale. I mean, the Giants as a team had 3, 4, 5 total bases in this game. It's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. So, I mean, go get them tomorrow. They still have a chance to win this series out on the road. If they win tomorrow, it's a successful trip to Wrigley. And I was planning before the Willie Mays news. I told you guys at the end of the show last night that I was planning on talking about some of my experiences at Wrigley Field last year and just how cool that yard is. I mean, 100% need everybody to get out there to Wrigley Field. If you're a baseball fan, you need to go there. Like, it is a need, not a want, not a desire, not a maybe, not a eventually when I have the money for it. It's a no. Close the eyes and give them the credit card, pay for the Airbnb, pay for the flight, pay for the tickets, go take the tour on the off day. Like, you need to go. You need to go. It will make your life so much better. It just will. Wrigley Field, one of the greatest cathedrals in all of baseball. I mean, those old ballparks, you can just feel ghosts of baseball past there. And one of those ghosts you can feel out there now is Willie Mays, as he dies at 93 years old. Announced just days before the Giants go out to Wrigley Field and play the Cardinals in a game that will honor the Negro Leagues, will honor Willie Mays. Major League Baseball has announced that they're going to honor Willie Mays in that game as well. No duh. Rob Manfred is not listening to the Locked On Giants postcast, but if for some reason anybody out there knows Rob Manfred or can get this message to him, the Giants absolutely, not just the Giants, every single player on the field in that Rickwood game between the Giants and between the Giants and the Cardinals, every single player in that game at Rickwood Field between the Giants and the Cardinals needs to be wearing a number 24 on their back. They need to be wearing a patch to honor Willie Mays, and there needs to be recognition of him during that game. There will be a lot of those things will happen already, guaranteed, but Rob Manfred, step up. Everybody on that field should be wearing number 24. Every single player, Giant, Cardinal, doesn't matter. We do the same thing with Jackie Robinson Day. We should do that for Willie Mays as well. That's about all the time I got for you guys today on the Locked On Giants postcast. I can feel the emotions bubbling, so I got to go get on out of here and probably lay in bed and cry a little bit, if I'm being totally honest about this Willie Mays thing. I'm gonna go take a walk around San Francisco. Everybody, you guys all got to get out to that Willie Mays museum, that Willie Mays exhibit on King Street, right by Baseballism, right by the corner of 3rd and King, across the street from Oracle Park. You all need to get out there and go see it. You can tell when you're walking by, there's a big picture that if you guys have seen the shirts that a couple of Giants players have been wearing pregame, it's like a stained glass picture of Willie Mays on the shirts. That's the same thing that is on the outside of the building. It's like the stained glass. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a sticker kind of thing that they put on the window, but it's obvious to spot. You're walking by, you look at it, you say, that's a picture of Willie Mays. And there's a Giants like staffer, like usher kind of guy standing out in front telling people, hey, come on in. It's free. So get out there, go check out that Willie Mays exhibit. RIP to the greatest human being to ever set foot on a baseball field. Willie Mays dies at 93 years old on the same day that the Giants fall 5-2 to the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. And as barring any tragedies tomorrow, I'll bring you guys some interesting notes that I got from Wrigley last time I was out there, and just we got to talk about the vibe of a Wrigley Field when we have time on a more appropriate day, more appropriate show. And I think that'll be tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. I got to get on out of here and go think about Willie Mays some more. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.